My name is Saara Kekki, and I'm a postdoctoral researcher in North American Studies and Agricultural Studies at the University of Helsinki. My current research interests lie in networks of a diverse range of contexts related to ethnicity and immigration. I was asked to introduce the concept of big data. A lot of my own work and my own thinking intersects with what Eetu Mäkelä talks about in his non-standard data video, but I'll try to focus on the general definition of big data, though from a humanities and social sciences viewpoint. Of course, big data is useful for many walks of life. In addition to academic research, it can be used to study our shopping behavior through loyal customer programs, for example. For physicists and economists, big data usually means millions, if not billions, of rows of data. Especially from the point of view of historical data, anything beyond the level of an individual researcher's ability to process manually constitutes big data. While social sciences and humanities data is often smaller in scale than in the natural sciences, each data point is more complex, allowing for more nuanced interpretations. That's why, as Dana Boyd and Kate Crawford have noted, I quote, "Big data is notable not because of its size, but because of its relationality to other data. Its value comes from the patterns that can be derived by making connections between pieces of data about an individual, about individuals in relation to others, about groups of people, or simply about the structure of information itself." End quote. That's why humanities and social sciences big data is sometimes called thick data. And this thickness, detail of the data we often encounter should lead us to consider the ethical issues of big data. I will give an example from my own dissertation research in which I studied the networks of Japanese Americans incarcerated during World War II. My data consisted of two large databases compiled by the US authorities during the war, as well as material collected from newspapers at the time. All of this was publicly available, but I combined these different datasets to reflect my own interests. Some of the material was very personal, including, for example, the fields physical defects and religion. So how did I determine that these were ethical data to use? In addition to them being openly available, thus determined ethical by the creating authorities, most of the individuals considered in my study had passed away, and the youngest were over 72 years of age, the limit set by US authorities for the publicity of census data. To be sure, I did not discuss data related to minor offenses, although they were just as easily available to avoid any unnecessary pointing of fingers. I feel that as researchers of digital humanities or social sciences, we must come to terms with the fact that our big might not be the same as for other disciplines. For us, I think it's more important to consider how we use our data. As humanists and social scientists, we have the expertise to contextualize, and that is the extra dimension we bring into the use of big data. Thank you.